Hey, it's Derrick Richards having a drink with Chad Zumock, comedian from Ohio. Was in L.A., moving to New York when everything broke loose, and now you're stuck in Ohio right now, just kind of chilling, waiting for everything to unfold. And Chad has a podcast called Sit Down Zumock, which is a fantastic podcast. And so we're actually doing how can I put this? A hybrid cross. What do you call it? What did you call it? A SWAPCAST.
I coined it a SWAPCast, and I can't take credit for it. I've heard other comics call it that. And comedian Kevin Brennan and Jim Florentine make fun of me for the word SWAPCast. So I just continue to use SWAPCast, so they'll be annoyed with me.
So they'll get pissed off even more? That's hilarious. It makes sense.
Yeah, so whatever you're hearing on A Drink with Derrick, you're going to hear on my podcast, and I hope.
And whatever you hear on Sit Down Zumock is going to be on mine, which makes complete sense. It's hey, God forbid, we're being productive and using our time. Exactly.
I know you're a level-headed guy. You've been doing this for a long time. You're a vet in the game. You understand the game.
Yeah. Why do I feel like the 42-year-old quarterback who was brought in to back up the young stud drafted out of Auburn?
You're a young Aaron Rodgers, and I'm Brett Favre. Is that how it is?
That's sure we can do that. I'm good with that, man. How you doing? I know it's you ask everybody that question. Everybody has the same response. It's just that same sort of head shake where you go, I'm here.
Well, it's definitely been the big reset, and I think, and as of I don't know when yours is going to air, mine's going to air on Tuesday, but clubs are starting to slowly open. I see some headlight, and we'll see how this plays out. But I think it's been a big reset where a lot of comics that were on the go, like me, I've been a diehard road comic for 8 years, just on the go, nonstop, no day job, and I finally had 2 months to sit back and reflect and think about where I'm going to go and what I want to do, and if I really want to do it.
What has been the biggest, aside from that, what has been the biggest things that have come out of this for you personally, besides reflecting on your career and what you want to do?
And 13 extra pounds.
That happens. Day drinking constantly has a tendency to do that.
My whole thing was I was kind of burned out. I don't know about you, but I was getting burned out, like where I was questioning, like, I'm getting older. Do I really want to do this anymore? Like, I put so much time into it. Like, where's the payoff? I was living in LA. I hated LA. I hated what the industry is all about. I hated guys like you, who's a killer. Why aren't you on Netflix? Why isn't David? Well, David Tell is bumping mics, but there's so many. Mike Vecchione, who's an amazing comic. It's like talent is not being rewarded. Godfrey, like, why aren't these people getting rewarded for their talent, but yet, so-and-so, the transgender who's been doing it for 3 years, is getting a Netflix special. It just doesn't seem right. It's casting. They're like casting a Taco Bell commercial.
I'm laughing because I'm trying not to cry at the same time.
But it's true. It's just like athletes get rewarded in the NBA, NFL, if you're faster, quicker, stronger, and the same should be with comedy. Like, how long you been doing it? 25 years, 30?
26 years.
Okay, like, yeah, you put the time in. Like, let's get the perks. Let's go. And you've done a lot of stuff, but like,
no, but you're right though. In terms of having major success, we'd all certainly like to have that. And I think I believe wasn't it Seinfeld that made the comment? He goes that really at the end of the day, comedy is the most. How can I frame this? The most immediate response back in terms of whether you are a success or a failure. Either the audience is laughing or they're not.
Right.
And it seems to me that, like when you were talking about these certain individuals that have gotten Netflix specials, Hulu specials, or whatever, as you mentioned, the transgender that's been doing it for 3 years because they have a unique angle, if you will. But I don't hear the audiences laughing.
Yeah.
You watch the specials and the people aren't laughing. And I see friends of mine who are huge comedy fans that watch Netflix all the time, and they're like, yeah, I saw so-and-so special, didn't laugh at all. And obviously people like Chappelle and Bill Burr are just absolute crushers and they're hilarious. But a lot of these up and coming acts that end up getting thrown into the spotlight and they're just not funny. It seems like it's much more of a, like the industry is tailoring to a one man or one woman show that would be more suited to be off Broadway or playing at some little avant-garde theater on the outskirts of San Francisco in a coffee house or something like that.
Yeah,
so
I'll go ahead and translate that. I hated Nanette too. I don't understand why Hannah Gatsby has her second Netflix cycle coming.
See, I like the good buffer with this is that I'm trying to just walk the politically correct line, and you just simply don't give a shit.
I'll take the hit. I'm good. I know where I'm at. I'm never gonna make it famous. It's never gonna happen. You know, I'm a road dog till I die, and it's just, let's just be honest. Let's just call a spade. Let's call it out. This is what it is. It's just, and seriously, like, I would love to see Hannah Gatsby follow you. I would love to see that. And I'm saying she can't. No disrespect to her. I know her backstory from a comedian friend, and she was just a regular comic at one point until she bought into, this is what I got to do. Okay. And there's a lot of people that buy into that. I lived in LA. They're like, if I have to do this, this is what I'll do. They'll sell it, but I can't do it. I can't fake it. I call it like it is. So.
Yeah, you got to be, I think at the end of the day, the audiences appreciate honesty and they can truly see through bullshit.
Right. Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, you've been doing it 26 years. You've been all over the map. You've been on TV. You've done it all. You can't replace that experience. That's like a weightlifter in the gym all the time. Like, you're a bodybuilder, and a person doing it 3 years who gets an HBO special, they're 3-year-olds.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just become like it's become like COVID-19. I can't understand it. I don't know why people buy into certain things. I don't know what the quote unquote science is behind it. Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to be making money somewhere, off of these specials. I don't know who it is. I don't know anybody that is, talking about some of these specials like you were mentioning, Nanette. No one's talking about them like they talk about Bill Burr, Paper Tiger, or Chappelle's Sticks and Stones. So
I will say this, and I'm being honest, full disclosure, the past 4 years, the 4 specials that I watched in their entirety were Bill Burr, Chappelle, all of his, Louis C.K.'s newest one,
right,
and Nanette. I watched all of Nanette because I wanted to back up whatever I have to say about it. I don't just want to shit on her. I want an honest approach to shitting on her, and I earned it. I watched it. It was garbage.
Right.
With all due respect.
Right. I like the back end of it, with all due respect. And truth be told, I mean, you're a guy, and I follow you on social media. I see the stuff that gets posted on Twitter, and you're a guy that just likes to stir the pot.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine. I've always been the guy, even in high school, like, I was a popular kid. I played sports, but I was always attracted to the bad kid in the back of the class who got detentions. I would always hang out with that guy. It's never changed. I like troublemakers. I like problem causers. And even in comedy, I'm hanging out with, like, Kevin Brennan, who is just toxic in the business. But he makes me laugh harder than anyone. So, But at the same time, I'm real. I keep it real, and, like, I like good dudes. You're a great guy. You're a great comic. So I keep it real. If I sense, like, some phoniness, I'll call it out, because comedy's supposed to be all about honesty. I guess not, but that's how I play it.
No, exactly. And yeah, you talk about Kevin Brennan. I mean, I know he's a lightning rod for controversy. And I mean, you've gone after and have stirred the pot with some significant, I don't want to say like monster names in the business, but some pretty big names in the business.
Well, my downfall was last year when I got in an argument online with Patton Oswalt, and I call it the 9/11 of comedy. Definitely the 9/11 of my career, because I saw comedian friends of mine for the past 15 years turned their back on me because they were afraid. They're all afraid of this little man and his 5 million Twitter followers and his power he has in Hollywood, what they will think of him. Well, they will think of them if they were friends with me. And it was disgusting and sad. And it made me mad, and it made me more angry, and it made me double down after that. Because at first I was like sympathetic. I didn't want people to get in trouble. But at one point I was just like, fuck this. This is bullshit. This guy's punching down.
Now, what exactly did you, for the listener who is not aware of exactly how this went, and by the way, how can people follow you on Twitter, by the way? Because people need to follow you on Twitter and on social media. Twitter especially, because Twitter is just fun little quick jabs that you come, it's like bam, 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 in and out. I mean, Instagram, you got to take a picture and do all that crap, or unless you take a screenshot of the argument that you do. But what's your handle on Twitter so people can follow you?
It's just my name, Chad Zumock. I follow Derrick, but here's my newest tweet right here. I don't know if you could see this.
Oh, what's this against Chris? Chris Titus has blocked you. Okay, before we get to that, let's get back to the Patton Oswalt thing. What did you say or do that started the snowball rolling downhill with Patton Oswalt?
Well, I think he's still my friend. I don't know, a former friend of mine, Sam Tripoli, who I did a podcast with called Punch Drunk on all things comedy. Sam's into conspiracy theories and crazy stuff. So I looked up to Sam. He was a good friend of mine, and he put a bug in my ear about Patton Oswalt and all the people that are fake in Hollywood. And I started paying attention to the stuff he was tweeting. It was pandering stuff. And when Patton Oswalt first came in the game, he was one of the comedians of comedy. They were punk rock. They played rock clubs. He was alternative. Now he's part of the system. He's in Pixar films. He's in, network TV shows. And what I see is he took a political approach, and he's pandering to whatever the quote unquote Hollywood executives like. Right. And I just see the pandering taking place. And it had something to do with Jordan Peele, who directed the movie Get Out, how he wanted to cast a white male lead. And I forgot the exact tweet Patton said, but it was something about he was pandering to Jordan about white male leads. And I'm thinking to myself, and I wish I had the exact tweet. I'm sure you could find it. I'm like, well, why don't you give up your roles, Patton, to a black man or a person of color, as we're supposed to say?
Right.
Give up all those roles, pal. And then I called him out, and he saw that I was smaller than him on Twitter. So he started to wave his dick around. He started trashing me. Right. And then people start piling in, including Chris Titus, a bunch of comics. And I just had to defend myself. And it got ugly. I said something about, because O&A Reddit nerds started getting involved, and they were bringing up that Patton may or may not have killed his wife, allegedly. Personally, I don't think he did. But I made a joke about, because his wife jumped in, his current wife, who was in the movie Dream a Little Dream. I think her name's Meredith Salinger. Yeah. Saying, she started trashing me, and I just told her to sleep with one eye open tonight, which I thought was funny. And then he...
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it got ugly. And he turned it around like I was threatening his wife, and he made it uglier. He turned it hardcore. And I was just like, fuck this guy. And I still stand by fuck this guy.
You know what you remind me of? You remind me of me when I get about 6 or 7 whiskeys in me. I literally will almost handcuff myself away from a computer and go, no, play the Top Gun and go, do not engage, Maverick. Do not engage. Fly back to base. Do not engage.
That's why I quit drinking, because it's ironic I'm on a drink with Derrick when I had to quit drinking, because every dumb move was because of drinking. Every stupid thing I've ever done. Yeah,
I can attribute many. I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
Now, what was the Titus thing? Was the Titus block that you're blocked from Titus's account? Was that related to this Patton Oswalt thing, or was that something totally unrelated?
Well, Titus is a panderer too, so he comes in giving Patton Oswalt backup, because he needs backup with 6 million Twitter followers. So Christopher Titus he's made it in the game. He's had TV shows. He's done it. Right. He's established. He's a millionaire. But he felt like he needed to punch down and send these trolls after me. So I just went back at him. And what I was doing, that was what made me, and I'm proud of this, what made him block me is I was making fun of his Janet Jackson headset that he wears when he does comedy. I kept posting photos, split screens like this
Yeah.
of Janet Jackson and him with headsets on, like Rhythm Nation.
Right.
It got under his skin so bad he blocked me.
Now, when you say pandering, describe pandering to the layperson that may not know exactly how we all know what pandering means, but in the industry, when you say someone is pandering,
at one point, comedy became overly politicized. Like politics got involved. And when I started comedy in 2004, I got into it for 3 reasons. I like to joke around, I like the attention, and I like pussy. 3 things. That was it. That's it. Sorry, I'm a throwback. And I thought David Tell Skanks for the Memories was a masterpiece, and I wanted to make that album. He was a legend to this day, one of the greatest comedy albums. So that was the reason why I got into it. It was a party. But over the course of my career, I realized you have to say a certain thing. You have to be a certain way. You have to vote for a certain person. You have to believe in. And I'm just like, I'm not a conformist, man. I got in this for free thinking, to have fun and to dick around. And it outgrew me. Whatever we're doing outgrew me, and I can't be a part of it. So I started to fight back, almost like a punk attitude, like anarchy. I became Bad Brains. I became the Ramones, against the establishment, Rage Against the Machine.
Right.
So that's my mentality with comedy. It doesn't serve me well, but I have fun.
But the thing is, you've got a lot of followers. You have a lot of people that have your back. You got a lot of people that support your line of thinking and don't, want to just buy into whatever the quote unquote perceived, popular take is on something, which speaks volumes. I mean, that's cool that there are those people out there that still, that back you and believe you and are cool with that sort of a rebel mentality about, going against what everybody else is thinking is popular angle.
But as comics, you as a comic, we're supposed to be the smartest people in the room. We're supposed to be the best thinkers. We're supposed to observe better than anyone and come to some sort of conclusion, form a conclusion. And you don't necessarily have to form that conclusion by what's the popular take. Just take the assessment of whatever political side you lean on, right, left. I can call out bullshit on Trump. I can call out bullshit on Hillary. Just form an opinion, even though it's not popular. Take that opinion and go with it. And that's how I do things. And that's how we're supposed to do it. You and me, Derrick Richards, are smarter than everybody else. We are.
That's the first time anybody's ever said that. Including my parents, God rest their souls.
But you are, man. I mean,
where were you when I needed you? Years ago, growing up.
You're a successful guy.
More confidence. No, my parents were awesome. I don't want to say anything negative about them, but
you're a successful guy in Vegas with a hot wife. You won. You beat the system.
I have a hot girlfriend. Don't get me married yet.
Oh, sorry. I was trying.
That's okay. That is quite all right.
She gave me a couple extra bucks on the side to say that.
No, I mean, I don't get, and again, I think what really ends up getting people too is just getting involved in some of the, like what obviously happened with you with the social media stuff, because I mean, I'm active on Twitter. I don't have an interactive Facebook page, and I just never wanted to get involved in it. I don't care about seeing I have a business page, and that's it, and I post certain things, whether it's gigs, whether it's some kind of funny thing that I, this show, other little funny video clips and stuff like that. And once in a while I post something that really kind of, gets me cranked up. But as a rule, like I said, I don't care about being involved in that banter where like 50 million people want to chime in with their opinion, because I don't care.
Yeah. No, that's, you learn over the course of time, like it's all noise, but every now and then that one tweet will throw you over. You're just like, you're in a bad mood. Maybe you got in a fight with your girlfriend or your mom, and you go on Twitter and you see something, and you're like, fuck this guy. And next thing you know, it's World War III.
Who else have you, besides Titus and Patton Oswalt, is there anybody else that has popped up that's a more recognizable name to the masses that you've turned the crank on? Well,
what made me calm down on Twitter is when I got my Twitter stolen over the summer over a SoundCloud rapper named Extension. I can't even pronounce his name, but his young followers somehow hacked in my Twitter and stole it for over a week. I had to contact Twitter, and it was scary. I was getting death threats. Because I remember I was at Zany's in Chicago, in Old Town, and they were saying they were going to send people there to kill me. So I had to file a police report, and I was just like, all right, I'm going to calm down on Twitter, because as soon as you go after this younger generation that are tech savvy, we're fighting a game. It's way beyond it's a bigger fight than I can fight. So I back down a little bit.
Well, they have more energy. They're all hopped up on Monster, and they're just dicking around in their parents' basements. They got nothing to do but try to figure out how to hack into your credit card and screw up your FICO score. Yeah,
Monster, weed, and video games, and on their free time they'll break into your Twitter.
Yeah, that's the productivity of today's youth.
Yeah.
You go back and you look years ago at just how much this country and just how much we've devolved as a society, where you had guys in their early 20s years ago that were titans of industry, that were inventing stuff and doing cool things, and now I look everywhere and you see some 24-year-old in skinny jeans making TikTok videos. Just stick the TikTok video I want to see is you hanging yourself.
I would love to see that. I would repost hanging yourself TikTok video everywhere. I'll retweet it. Just do it.
You should hop on the hashtag hanging yourself TikTok video
I know.
and see how many followers you get with that.
Somebody said, if I'm joining TikTok, I said, I'd rather join NAMBLA. Like, I'm almost 50. Like, what am I going to do on that? Nobody wants to see me. But going back to what I was saying, Derrick, the reason why I left the LA is because it's very political comedy. And if you go to the Comedy Store, I see all these people they're trying to hang out with the cool kids. It's almost like high school. And I see everyone fawning over Rogan. Rogan's a great comic. He's a nice guy. But I don't want to kiss his ass. Like, granted, it's the biggest show on the internet, but I want him to respect me, so I'm not going to kiss his ass. And here's the thing: I'm not a huge UFC guy. I don't smoke weed. But if he liked me, that'd be great. But I'm not going to go out of my way to kiss his ass to get on a show, and I just don't have it in me anymore. So, that's where I stand with this.
Now, did you find because you're talking about moving to New York? Do you find the New York scene to be that much different than Los Angeles, or is it pretty much the same but on a different coast?
I went to Skankfest, which is ran by Louis J. Gomez and the Legion of Skanks. This was 2 years ago, and it is diehard comedy fans. I mean, if you walk through there, they're like, "Holy shit, it's Derrick Richards." That's how crazy they are. They know everybody. So I had these people coming up to me, and it's old school comedy. It's raw. It's dirty. It's filthy. It's inappropriate. It's pushing boundaries. And it was all New York comics. I go, this is my family. This is where I belong. These are my people. You go up and you make a inappropriate rape joke, and they love it. You get applause for it. You don't get groans. They're like, keep going. And I go, this is what I want to do. And that's what made me want to move to New York. But unfortunately, the zombie apocalypse is happening, and I got to switch gears.
Well, I think what this is doing is, at least from what I've picked up on it, at least my own personal, when you try to find the silver lining in something like this, is it's like you said, it's caused a reset for a lot of people like yourself. It was a reset for your career and your thought process on what you wanted to do. And, it sucks. There's a bunch of people that are dying, but I don't think that it's my own personal take. I think that this is complete bullshit. I'm not wearing a face mask anywhere unless I got to go into a store like Costco says you got to wear a face mask. I'm sorry. I like Costco. I'll wear your face mask. But I'm not going to drive in my car wearing a face mask. Somebody posted on something that said wearing a face mask in your car is like going to sleep by yourself wearing a condom. I wish I could remember who the hell posted that. It was so funny. I was cracking up.
As soon as you said that, I started thinking of a condom joke, and that was perfect.
No, I love it. I wish I could remember who said it, but I think that as this thing is on the downward side of it, and I think people are just, hopefully educating themselves more and not just believing all the mainstream media and digging up and doing some actual reading on this, because I just think this is complete bullshit.
And I'm not tinfoil hat guy or conspiracy theory, but I do know common sense. A lot of this is driven by fear media. It's a game of telephone. Like, so I heard so-and-so died. He was only 16. Really? Okay, so you're going to hear a lot of that bullshit. So we're automatically people live in fear, and people are sheep, and they start believing whatever. And with that being said, Pete, please pick up my albums online, iTunes, A White Guy Named Chad, if you're sheep.
You know what I think this has done too is this has allowed me to see how stupid some people can be that I didn't know were that stupid. I mean, there's people that I've, that would follow me on social media, and I would make some comment on Facebook, and they would jump in. And to me, if somebody goes in on my business page and they want to, post something or, take some hard political stance that isn't the angle that I believe in, I just, I delete comment and ban user. It's that easy. People freak out about that. I'm like, I got a cup of coffee or I got a glass of whiskey in my hand. I grab the mouse, right click, and you're fucking gone.
Yeah, and they're not going to dictate your mood. I mean, the people in your life. This guy with 3 followers and an anonymous name isn't going to change or alter your day.
Right.
So, yeah, just get him out of the way.
No, exactly. And I think there's so many. I'm surprised. This has made me open my eyes to a lot of people that I didn't think thought the way they do, if that makes any sense.
Sure.
Or you see people posting stuff and I'm like, wow, you're that far off the ledge. Mm-hmm. This has done this to you. I mean, I hear people posting stuff on social media where they, called out their neighbors for social distancing, or somebody, I know there was a comic who was bragging about it. I'm not going to mention his name. I know you know who it is, but he was in LA and he was posting on Facebook. A friend of mine told me that he was calling out. Somebody came by to visit like a neighbor of his. And he goes, you don't live here? Well, that's no. This is stay home, stay safe, blah, blah, blah. And he literally shamed the person into leaving. I'm like, you know what? You are just the postcard of dick.
Yeah.
When you do something like that. I mean, everybody at the end of the day, live your own life. If you want to wear a mask in public and that makes you feel good, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to do it. But don't sit there and, give everybody else a hard time for not playing the same game that you're playing.
I haven't had sex with a girl with a condom in 4 years. Is people judging me for that? Oh, he doesn't wear condoms. It's in my life. Let me live my life.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've seen more stupid stuff that people post now that for people that I've known a long time, and just people that are just completely losing their minds one way or the other. And I'm like, wow, I did not see that level of extremism in your personality. But, I guess it is what it is. Well,
some people have to buy in. They want it, they want to make it so bad, and they just have this desperation. There's a really well-known comic. I'm not going to name his name, not because I'm a pussy, just because I respect him in our history.
Right.
But I saw him turn the corner, and I know he's buying into the Hollywood game because of his career, and I see it happening, and I'm just like, come on, man, not you. You're not that guy. You don't need it. You're already successful. How much money do you need? How famous do you got to be? And it's sad, but I don't know. I just don't have that in me, and I'll forever just be what I am, and I've accepted it.
But by the same token, for say somebody who was on the rise and they're in LA and you're kind of forced, and I'm not advocating this, I'm just saying I can see it where you're looking and you can see, I'm sitting here in my living room right now. I can look on the other side of the living room. I can see on the coffee table. I can see the Heisman Trophy that I want. And all I have to do is walk over there and pick it up. Now I've got to sacrifice maybe some, I can bend the way I think a little bit in order to get my Heisman Trophy. I mean, if you had that in your face, do you think you would become or could become that person? Or can you see how somebody would start pandering to sort of please an agent or a manager or a casting director or just the establishment in general to try to get you that Heisman Trophy?
Yes, I can, because in a much smaller bubble in Northeast Ohio, when I was on a Cleveland radio show that was very popular, and it was within the bubble, I kind of saw myself doing that. I was hanging out with Cleveland Browns players, and I was hanging out, I was getting VIP in bars, and people were paying for my meals and drinks. So I had a weird taste of that celebrity, on a much, much lower level.
Right.
But when shit hit the fan and when stuff fell apart, I saw them all turn their back on me. I saw the other side of that. So I'll never want to do that again. Like I don't want these people to be my friends because if something bad happens, they'll look at Louis C.K. He was the pride of Hollywood. Liberals loved him. And then that shit happened. They all could not get away from him. And he was just like, you guys used to love me. And now they just try to turn him into this fucking monster.
And that I thought was the least egregious of anything that was going down.
Absolutely.
I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, for people that are listening to this that aren't aware, I mean, obviously Louis C.K. was, snapping one off in front of a girl, and he asked her if he could.
Yeah,
and she said yes. And then he did it, and then he's the bad guy.
I talked to a very famous comic. I'll tell you off air because I just don't want to throw him into this.
No, I got you.
The very next day after that happened, he had breakfast with those girls and a bunch of people. They were laughing about it. They were high and they were like, "Oh my God, Louis just started jerking off," and like, it was so weird. It was funny. It was weird. So the game of telephone made it into the Me Too movement, and he got thrown in with Jared Fogle, all the sexual Jerry Sandusky, Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein. Just throw him in there.
Yeah, it's literally like rounding people up in the dark ages, just driving down the street with this caged wagon and just throwing people in the back of it because you stole a Twix bar, so you're in the same category as the guy that murdered his family.
Yeah, Jim Florentine said this on Kevin's podcast yesterday. He goes, Michael Vick killed dogs. He killed them and then went to prison, served his time, and he was right back in the NFL. He was doing analyst jobs. Everyone forgave him. But Louis C.K., monster. Let's throw him on a prison island.
Well, and the cool thing with him is I know he was heading out doing some shows. He was down doing a club down in Florida not too long ago in Sarasota. And I guess like his manager, they were at McCurdy's Comedy Club. And one of the things that his manager or whoever it was, the agent that was with him, road manager, like literally where they were finding, exit points in the room in case somebody came in and lost their mind, whether there was a shooter. Yeah. And just to even think of that even being a possibility in a comedy club just blows me away.
I met that road manager. He has like really long dreads, and he usually does road managing for bands. It was his first comedian, but he was telling me the exact stories you were just telling me. He goes, yeah, it's for his safety. That's the reason why he has to have it, because people are out of their fucking minds.
Yeah, I can't understand how it's again how comedy has gotten to be so much of a lightning rod instead of a release for people. I mean, you could sit there and look back at people like Carlin and even going back to your Lenny Bruce and stuff like that, and the people that were really talking against the establishment. But I don't think at any point in time, I mean, I know they were, obviously Lenny Bruce had to deal with the police and things like that. But, I don't recall anybody as far as an audience member, and maybe it's, just the fact of lack of social media back in that day. But I don't recall ever hearing stories about, audience members, coming to a show with a gun or pulling a knife on a comedian because they said some joke that they thought was inappropriate.
Yeah. By the way, can you imagine Carlin in 2020 with a podcast?
Oh my God. I feel, you know what? I turned the volume down in my house watching Blazing Saddles.
I know. Yeah, try making that movie now.
I can't. I get 5 minutes in, and we were watching it with some friends of mine. My buddy put together this old friends of mine. We were doing a Zoom, and we were watching movies.
Yeah.
And we watched Roadhouse.
Great movie.
Horrific. But I can't not watch it.
Oh, it's great because it's so bad. It's like you can't stop watching it.
No, and the thing is, I can literally see Jeff Healey playing behind that chicken wire fence, and all I can do is think of how many gigs I've done that have been like that without the chicken wire fence.
I think when I first met you, you opened up for Jeff Healey at that bar.
And you know what? I was probably happy to do it. And I guarantee you there were 20 other comics that called me saying, who books that?
You got $50 in a bar tab, I remember. And then you got your ass kicked by Sam Elliott.
That zero surprises.
Hey, speaking of Heisman Trophy winners, you're in Vegas. Have you ever run into OJ?
I have not. I know he's out on the west side of town. He's over in Summerlin, from what I've heard.
Okay.
And I know people run into him at bars and restaurants, and they say he's the nicest guy that you can possibly run into. I'm like, well, you know, maybe he got all those anger issues out a while ago.
Well, I always said he hasn't killed anyone in 25 years. I think he learned his lesson.
Well, yeah, between that and then, you know, going into, was it Palace Station Casino with a gun and demanding his memorabilia back. I mean, that guy's the postcard of like every bad decision somebody could possibly make.
He's also the postcard. If you got fame, you can get over anything.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, he went to jail and it was a circus, and he got out and it was a circus, and he still kept. The thing is, it was a circus, and he could have just stopped and just not done any more stupid shit. But he was at the circus, and he goes, you know what? There's not enough monkeys here. I'm going to bring 20 more that'll throw poop at the people in the crowd.
Now he's beloved on Twitter by everyone, just giving out great commentary.
Hey, not for nothing. The guy knows football.
Oh, yeah, he knows it. Yeah, of course. Now, let me ask you this. If you saw O.J. Simpson, would you get a photo with him?
Yeah.
Me too.
I would. I'm not going to say, you know, OJ, I love you. I'm like, hey, OJ, can I get a picture with you? I mean, that's just, you know, if I saw Son of Sam, I'd want to get a picture with him. I mean, who has that photo?
I would get a picture with Fogel, Jared Fogel. Just for
How would you not? I mean, just from the comedic aspect of it. I mean,
exactly.
I would just have like a photo album of train wrecks.
That's comedy, man. Like we're able to
comedy.
We're able to detach ourselves from these horrific crimes for the sense of a laugh. People were like, "Oh my God, it's Derrick Richards with Jerry Sandusky."
So who would be? All right, now here's this question for you: who would be on your Mount Rushmore of train wrecks that you would want your picture taken with?
Well, Fogel's definitely. Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Weinstein would be a good photo op. My number one, and I would actually date her for the story, is Casey Anthony.
Wow, you're a thrill seeker.
And I'm moving to Florida for the summer, so that could happen.
She's right outside. I think she's in Ocala, Florida, isn't she? Or Orlando, somewhere in the middle of the state.
I'll find out.
I can just see you on Tinder and Bumble down in Florida trying to find Casey Anthony.
I'm swiping right every time.
It's like, I want to see her profile. Hey, I really love kids. Nah, I don't fucking think so.
Yeah. Yeah, we both like to drink, and we both don't want kids. It's perfect.
Dude, you crack me up. Your podcast again is Sit Down Zumock, and definitely subscribe. And it's on subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to it on all the platforms. What's it available on?
iTunes, iHeartRadio, all that stuff. And you're on. This is the episode. Derrick Richards has finally made the podcast. You and Chuck D from Public Enemy. Congratulations.
Sweet. I love it.
Yeah.
Chuck D from Public Enemy. Dude, you're awesome, man. Thanks for this is fun, man. This was great. And this was a great SWAPCAST. So you know what? Fuck you, Brennan and Florentine. It actually makes sense.
Thank you, Derrick. I got back up on this bitch.
Oh man, we'll definitely connect here next time you get back out to Vegas, or I get out to the East Coast, or I'll look forward to being invited to the Casey Anthony Chad Zumock wedding.
Oh, you're in it. And shout out to Allie Lerman. She says hello.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Yes.
She is absolutely just an amazing human.
Yes, but I hope to see you in the club soon, and we can be hanging out. So that'd be fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll keep the booze away from you, or at least keep your phone away from you after you're drinking.
One of the two.
We'll make it. Yeah, there's got to be some balance there.
Yes, thank you, Derrick.
You're awesome, man. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
See you, bud. Later.
Dude, that was perfect.
Yeah.